Hi everyone. I'm doing a short video. Well, it's probably going to be 20-25 minutes anyway, but on successfully quitting smoking. And that's because I know there are a lot of people who would actually, in a way, like to quit smoking, but find it so very difficult to do or fear going there. And well, I quit myself almost 14 weeks ago, so over 3 months ago now. And I am using patches. That helps a lot. I would recommend that as well, getting patches. If don't buy a whole batch in one go if you want to do that, because over here in the Netherlands we have two brands of patches, and the GP sent me the one brand and a couple of boxes in one go, right, for 2 months or something. But I didn't react well to them. I didn't have a serious problem, nothing really weird happened or anything. But there was this edge of glue around the nicotine-filled part, and that glue, that bothered me tremendously. It started to itch, and I couldn't wear that patch from that brand for the entire day. In the evening, in the beginning of the evening, it started to really, really bother me. And I have actually once, when it was lower on my belly, because you can basically stick it anywhere, right? I pulled it off and I ripped my skin on several places, and it took a few weeks, I think 2 weeks or something, to properly heal. I wasn't too chuffed about that. So then I asked for the other brand, and they are transparent. And they don't bother me at all, really. And now this is not anything to be afraid of. I am very sensitive. My skin is very sensitive. I can't use normal band-aids either. So if you have the same problem, you might want to not buy a whole batch of these patches in one go. Try them first, right? And see if they go for you, if they work for you. Anyhow, but it does work a treat to have these patches. And I was a heavy smoker, a seriously heavy smoker, 25, 30 a day. Maybe more sometimes, I don't know. I didn't want to know, really. A lot. A hell of a lot. And for 37 years, I smoked for 37 years. So, try to get that out of your system, And the thing is, nicotine itself is out of the body in some 48 hours. Now, you can go cold turkey without patches. I've done that as well. Well, then know that you're going to feel like shit for 2-3 days. On day 3, you will likely start to feel a little bit better. It's serious shit. Like you have the flu, I've done that a couple of years ago, and I quit for a week. Then I started smoking again. And I felt horrible. I would not have been able to work. It was that bad. So I do recommend getting these patches, because then you do not have that at all, because you still get the nicotine. You do not get the other stuff that's also addictive, and the shit that causes cancer and whatnot, but you still get the nicotine. And then you wean yourself off it, right? Because after a month, it's a 3-month program, basically. After a month, you go down a step, and then after yet another month, another step down in nicotine. Anyhow, that's the patches. I would seriously do that if you want to quit smoking. I'm sorry. That's a stupid thing. My voice still throws a wobbler when I speak a lot. Anyhow, then there is this other thing. There is the substance addiction part of quitting, which is the part where you have to wean yourself of the nicotine and the other shit that's in there. That's also highly addictive, the other things, right? The toxic shit that's in there. That goes quite fast. Like I said, 48 hours and the nicotine is gone out of your body, and you're basically done with that. then there is the other part, and that's the hard part. That's what I'm still struggling with that. It's the habitual part, the part where you want to compensate. Like today I wasn't feeling too well, not ill, but I have a serious case of brain fog today. And normally when you have something like that, what you light a cigarette, right? If you feel stressed, you light a cigarette. In my case, if I felt really happy and enthusiastic about something, I lit a cigarette. And and I'm now at that stage where I'm beginning to miss having that cigarette moment, that smoking moment, right? And sometimes it was just nice, and yeah, I'm not certain how to explain that because English language doesn't have a word for it. In Dutch we call that gezellig. In German you say gemütlich or gemütlich, and the English language doesn't have a word for that. If I search for a translation, it will come up with cozy. Well, you can't say it's cozy to smoke. This is just silly. But just having this nice moment when you're by yourself with a cup of coffee or with a friend or whatever, just this nice moment with a nice cigarette and really enjoying that. That is what I'm talking about. You don't have that anymore. Well, you still have these moments, but then not a cigarette. And and that has nothing to do with the substance, because that I've dealt with that. I mean, it's been 14 weeks almost, and so that's not the issue anymore. It's not the substance, but it's just that, having something to do that makes you feel good, and that feels good to do, and also the compensation, right? Like what I just said, when you have stress or whatever, basically the reasons you started smoking in the first place and the reason you kept smoking, you really have to look into that. What's behind it for you? What did you get out of smoking? Apart from saying, oh, it's just nice and I like it, and there is something that made you become an addict. Basically, you are an addict. That's another thing you have to learn to face. I never saw myself as an addict. I still don't. Because I just liked to smoke, and it was something I chose to do. And I didn't give a toss what other people felt or thought, or it's like, I want to smoke. I choose to smoke. And it's my life, it's my body, and if I choose to smoke, I just smoke, and no one can do anything about that. And until I chose to stop smoking, right? And so I never considered myself an addict. But now that I've quit, I have to deal with these addiction things. That, it is an addiction. Even if you don't see yourself as an addict or see smoking as an addiction like me, you still will have to deal with that part when you quit. And the substance part is the easiest. I always thought it was the most difficult. It isn't. It's the easiest part. The addiction part, that's the hardest. Now what I'm doing, I'm so sorry, I have to just... I actually need another bra with a strap at the back, but then I'm on my own, and then I've had one. I bought one, but then I couldn't get into it on my own. It's like I need someone to help me get dressed now to get into my bra. Anyhow, back to the smoking. What I do now, basically, it's your ego, your body that starts protesting. When you want to smoke, when you have difficulty with it. It's your mind, it's your ego, your body reacts to that by having this craving, like, I want to smoke, I want a cigarette, and the thoughts that come with it as well, right? Like, you can do one or half a cigarette, it's not that bad, just half a cigarette. And stuff like that. That's the ego, that's the body protesting. And the thing is, the ego always protests and puts up a fight when you want to change something in your life, and even if it's for your best interest, for your health, right? Ego doesn't care. Ego just doesn't want change, regardless what change it is, so it starts to become difficult. So you have to basically fight your ego. You have to become the master or the mistress, whatever, right? And you have to become the boss over your body. And Joe Dispenza talks about that as well. You have to tame that body, like an animal, like you would train and tame an animal. And that takes, just think of training a horse, a wild horse, how much work and how much time that takes, and how much tender loving care as well, right? It's not like just whipping it and hitting it and kicking it. No, you have to be really nice and gain the trust of that horse and not give up, because it's going to take time. But at some point, the animal will surrender and just let go and give up. And your body, your ego, will do the same thing. At some point, you have won. You will be the boss. And at that point, you have control over your life again. And it sounds a bit like, it's really drastic. But it is like that. And it works that way. Really does, with everything. And don't underestimate quitting smoking. I did. I had not thought it to be this difficult. So do not underestimate that. It's really... I have a packet of tobacco here in this drawer here. But I can leave it be. But I do have tobacco. And I can just say that and just, it's whatever. But anyhow, as long as I stay away from it. But now there was something I wanted to say, and now I've lost my train of thought. Happens more often. Anyhow, what I do is what I find really helps, and that's a coaching tool that I've used more often. I also taught it to people in my courses. You can visualize this addiction, this ego, this body, that's fussing and yapping in the back of your mind. Oh, come on, you can do it. You can have one. You can just smoke. Just get a smoke. Visualize that as a monster, but a bit of a funny monster, not like a monster like something that scares the hell out of you. It has to be a little bit funny, a bit cute as well, but it's still a monster, right? Something you don't want, and that represents that addiction, that ego. You visualize it, really visualize it. See what color it has. Does it have feathers? Does it have a fur? What does it look like? What does it have, a beak or just a jaws and teeth? And just really look at it. And it's your monster, so it doesn't really matter. It can be purple with white dots, or it doesn't matter at all. And then whenever you feel like you get a craving, and I forgot to say that at the beginning. That's really stupid. This is not just for smoking, but it's also for drinking or getting rid of any habit or any addiction or whatever, like coffee, alcohol, overeating, snacking, just anything basically. Then when you feel that craving, that urge to do what you actually don't want to do anymore, then you tell that monster, which is the part of you that wants to do that, you tell that monster to shut up, sit in the corner, and you shove it a cookie in its gob or give it a ball to play with or whatever, so it just shuts up and is busy with that, right? You can also have it sit next to you if you feel like, I feel sorry for him or her in that corner all by himself. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. I do that sometimes as well, and it's next to me, and it's just, as long as it shuts up, I don't want it to continue yapping like, oh, come on, have a cigarette, you can do it. No, I just sit down, shove a cookie in its gob, or just give it a cookie and it starts eating that, And then, fine, the craving is gone. It really is gone. And then I can focus on something else and do something else again, because I'm not bothered anymore by this thought of, want a cigarette, maybe I can just do that, maybe I can have one, maybe I can have half a cigarette, and I can quit again, and blah, 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 all that stuff, right? That's gone then, right? Because I shut that up. And it helps. It really works. It really helps. And so if you want to quit, and anything basically, but I'm going to stick with smoking. I'm going to stick to smoking. If you want to quit smoking, get the patches. And at least for the beginning, if you can't afford to buy the patches for 3 months, right? Because I don't know what they cost abroad. I have no idea. This year we got them from health insurance, so it doesn't cost me anything this year to have these patches. That's why when I found out, I decided, okay, that's it, I'm gonna quit, right? I think over here a box of these things, and there's 14 in them. I think it costs about 35 US dollars approximately. I'm not certain. But you can, of course, just start with one box if you do not have a lot of money. And then after 2 weeks, you get the next box in, and, do it like that. Anyhow, I really do recommend you get these patches, because then you will not have that problem when you go cold turkey, that you feel like shit, utter shit for 2-3 days on end. And find a different routine as well. That's a bit to help with the compensation thing, to give you something else to do. What I did is, I'm still doing that, by the way. I do half an hour walk every day. I have to do that anyway for my back, but I never did. Now I do. And I have a step counter app on my phone, and I use that. It's very inspiring to see how many steps I've walked, and to figure out a new route to walk through the village, because I'm not going to get in my car every day to go somewhere, because then it's going to cost me petrol too. I don't like that. So it's just in my village, and I've been doing that for 14 freaking weeks. Every day. Whether it's raining or storming, and we have a lot of storms over here, so close to the coast, and right now we have a lot of storm winds, as well, but it doesn't matter. Once I got soaking wet, I forgot my umbrella, and I literally got soaking wet. My coat, just everything, my shoes, my socks, my jeans, it was horrible, but I did my walk, right? And just 4 times a week I do my fitness, the 1 mile walk. You can find that online on YouTube. It's by Leslie Sansone, and it doesn't cost anything, right? Because you can do it at home, and you do not have to go anywhere. You just do it at home, and then I do that in the evening, sometimes even at 11 o'clock. I'm not an early bird, not an early riser, so for me that's fine. You can do it whenever you want, whenever you like, and it doesn't cost anything. Just 15 minutes, and then you've done a mile. But you can also do 2 miles or 3 miles or 5 miles. Now I can't handle that, my body can't handle that, so I'm sticking with the 1 mile. But it just doesn't cost anything, just 15 minutes of your time. And I find that it really helps me as well. It brings a new routine in my life, something to hang on to hold on to, something healthy, something different than smoking. And I find it really helps to have a set new routine. It helps to not smoke anymore. And then yeah, understand that it might not be all that easy, right? That it's going to take time, that it really is an addiction, depending on how long you've smoked and how much you smoked, of course. Because there's also people who didn't smoke all that much and not for that long yet. I mean, I'm 54, right? And I started at 14, so go figure. If you've only smoked for maybe 2 years and not that many cigarettes a day, it's likely going to be a lot easier. Also, don't fear you're going to put on weight. I have not put on weight, which I think is quite something because I'm in my perimenopausal period as well. So it's very easy for me to gain weight at this moment. That's also why I started to do this fitness and these walks every day. I have not put on weight. I also drink tea every night before I go to bed. This special tea. I make that myself. I've got that from online, from the internet. It's to not put on, no, it's actually to lose weight. Now, I do not expect to lose weight when I'm quitting smoking. Most women gain 4 to 5 kilos in the first 2 to 3 weeks already. I haven't. Nothing, not at all. That tea, I will quickly tell you. 1 mug of boiled water, boiling water, right? It's hot. A teaspoon of chamomile, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with the mother, basically meaning it's biological and unfiltered apple cider vinegar, and it doesn't cost much at all. It's only just $3 or something, you know, €3 here where I am for almost a litre, and it, because it's only a tablespoon, it will last you quite some time. And then half a lemon. So you have to squeeze half a lemon because fresh lemon is best, really. You can use the stuff from a bottle, but it's best to get fresh lemon. Half a lemon, the juice of that. It basically, you need a tablespoon. But if you get the fake stuff, I call that fake stuff, the stuff in the bottle, you need more. And you will need the lemon, because once I was out of lemons and I did it without, it was horrible to drink. It didn't taste, like anything really. It was horrible. So you really need the lemon, and don't expect it to be nice to drink, because it's got the vinegar and it's got a lemon, and it's like, oh my God. But it does work. It does work, because I didn't put on weight at all. Nothing. So if you fear putting on weight, just start a routine as well, moving more like I'm doing, and which doesn't have to cost anything, right? I'm not spending anything at all on moving. And the tea, I recommend doing that. Well, it does help, and you sleep well too because of the chamomile in it, right? Anyhow, so if you want to quit smoking, then, well, this is my story. I hope it's helpful to you. If you happen to want to just lose weight, well, then you can just do the tea before you go to bed, right? And I think you will lose weight with it, but do not expect to lose weight when you quit smoking. Just be happy if you don't put on weight, right? So anyhow, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon with a reading. Bye.